This happy girl knew she was headed to a better life and bravely took on the journey to America. She quickly found her forever home in New Hampshire and enjoys running around the house, playing with her toys endlessly, and napping on her comfy couch. Widget was destined for slaughter and now lives a life where she gets carried to bed by her human every night and snuggled before curling up to go to sleep. Her forever mum states, "I know I am guilty of spoiling her, but it works as long as she doesn't get much bigger." Her energetic and happy demeanor, despite what she had been through, was a clear sign she knew a better life was out there waiting for her. And she was right. Archie. Among the 10 awaiting slaughter was Archie. After rescue, Archie's boisterous cage mate Widget helped him come out of his shell. Though he was still hesitant with the staff at the shelter, Widget was showing him that humans were safe as she held, jumped, played and wrestled with anyone who would come in contact with her. Archie would curiously and slowly follow her lead. Though he took more time to interact, it was obvious Archie was growing more fond of people by the day. After his journey to America, Archie settled right into his foster home, where he enjoyed staying active, learning basic commands, and enjoying his first Christmas safe from harm. You would never know what Archie had been through based on how well he adjusted to his new forever life in the States. Now he enjoys the life he truly deserves in his New England home. Maddie, now Olive. The last dog to be removed from the rusty, overcrowded cage at the slaughterhouse was Maddie, now Olive. She refused with all of her strength, as she was sure those rescuing her were only there to harm and torture her next for meat. It took the entire team to lift and turn the cage in order to eventually pull Maddie out of it. She thought she was fighting for her life. Olive had been so traumatized by what happened to her in the dog and cat meat industry that she crawled anxiously away in fear. When our staff attempted to slowly interact with her after her rescue, after some time in the shelter and receiving much needed medical care, Olive was a different dog. She was happy, playful and excited to greet the animal caretakers every day. She was ready for her new life. I truly can't thank you and your team enough for helping rescue her. It's hard to believe what a happy dog she's given her terrible past. Olive is really the most loving and snuggly dog I have ever met. She now has a big sister, an 11-year-old yellow lab, and her favorite place to be is on someone's lap and gives kisses on the nose. Olive has become not only a true member of our family, but also my best friend. Olive makes my life so much brighter and really has my entire heart. I don't know if I have ever loved anything more than I love her. Emma, Olive's forever mum. After being brought to the US, Boomer flourished in his foster home. He quickly found his forever home, and he now spends his days running and wrestling with his dog brother in the backyard or lounging on the couch with the family. Boomer is the most amazing dog. It's like he was meant to be here. Transitioning was easy for him. He's great with kids, listens very well and absolutely loves his new dog sister Mia. He's a perfect fit. Boomer's forever mum, Gabby. When our team saved Gabby, she was so fearful of humans, she froze and hid to protect herself. After time at our partner shelter, Animal Rescue Cambodia, Gabby slowly learned our staff was there to protect her. Once winning her over, she would jump around at your feet, roll on her back for belly rubs, and curl up in your lap to watch the other dogs play. When Gabby arrived to the US, she settled right into her foster home, who had recently adopted Neri, now Maisie, from our October transport. Her foster mum referred to Gabby and Maisie as her Cambodian bouncing beans, because they love to play and chase each other around the house all day. You would never know that both dogs, now playful, loving and carefree, came from horrific slaughterhouses in Southeast Asia. Gabby's foster mother quickly fell in love and proudly accepted her next Cambodian foster failure, success, and adopted Gabby. She has been by my side since the first night. She and Maisie are so comical together, chasing and playing constantly. The life they lived before is much different than the spoiled life they live now. Hope was terribly anxious when humans approached her and took time to adjust and trust. hiding in the back of her cage until fully trusting. Hope was slowly coming out of her shell for a rescue. After the slaughterhouse shut down, Hope, along with the others, had time to start building positive relationships with humans, and were given time to learn they were finally safe. Her journey across the world brought her to a new life, far from harm in New Hampshire, where she spends her days with her mum and dad, playing around the house with her toys, going on long walks in her winter coat and napping. Once destined for slaughter, Hope now receives special attention from her forever mum, who recently retired, and is always by her side. After losing our puppy, we rescued from Puerto Rico, suddenly we were too devastated to think about adopting again. But when I saw Hope's picture, I could see the sadness in her eyes, and I knew she needed us. Now, she's so happy here and completely trusts me. Hope has hope now. Debbie, Hope's forever mum. Widget, unlike the others, knew immediately her fate was in good hands when our team rescued her. As soon as she arrived at the shelter after the slaughterhouse closure for rehabilitation and treatment, she greeted the staff jumping and howling with excitement. Widget has a big personality, and it was clear to us she was ready to be a happy American dog, safe from China's infamous Yulin Dog Meat Festival has just concluded for another year. But South Korea's own dog meat feast is only just beginning. In Korea, Bognor Days are held on the 3 hottest days of the year between July and August. If it were not for the intervention of In Defense of Animals and Korean rescuers, the dogs would certainly have been killed and served as dinner, either during Bognor Days or before. Happy and Rudy are Jindo dogs, known for their fierce loyalty and brave nature, and recognized as South Korea's national breed. Jindos and similar yellow dogs are farmed for their meat in South Korea. They endure horrifying treatment on the country's many dog meat farms, akin to the mass suffering inflicted on animals in our own factory farms. Dog meat dealers are also known to buy animals who have been dumped or stolen illegally from homes, often still wearing their collars, whether they are companions or bred specifically for their meat. Trucks are stacked with hundreds of dogs crammed alive into wire cages to transport their grim cargo toward the slaughterhouse. They are transported without food or water, and many suffer broken bones or perish before reaching their final destination. Those who survive can only wait their turn as they watch other dogs being tortured and killed for human consumption. Some believe that terrorized dogs taste better or will give better health benefits, leading to intentional torture of dogs before they are eaten, through beating, hanging, electrocution, and any other cruel method that can be thought of. Please support the continued work of In Defense of Animals to protect dogs in South Korea. https://youtube.com/channel/D6AM/BLRWHDECWZ5WFN0TLQA. Ends. In Defense of Animals is an international animal protection organization with over 250,000 supporters, dedicated to protecting animals' rights, welfare, and habitats, through education, outreach, and our hands-on rescue facilities in India, Africa, and rural Mississippi. Since 1993, In Defense of Animals Hope Animal Sanctuary has rescued, provided refuge, and fought for justice for abused animals in rural Mississippi. In a region devoid of animal shelters and other vital animal control services, the ongoing work of Hope Animal Sanctuary is beyond critical in providing hope for animals continuing to suffer in America's Deep South. A slaughterhouse shut down in Cambodia. 6 of the rescued dogs fly to the US to find a loving home. The 20th of July 2020. Tucked away on a remote village in Cambodia, our team uncovered dark, horrific secrets. A slaughterhouse proving to be the largest supplier of dog meat in the province, killing more than 2,000 dogs per year, and contributing to the 3 million dogs killed every year in Cambodia for their meat was discovered. Despite the staggering number of victims yearly, The dog and cat meat trade in Cambodia has received little attention in recent years. In comparison to the Chinese Yulin Festival and dog meat farms throughout Korea, our stray animal care team, led by Dr. Catherine Pollock, negotiated the shutdown of this small but mighty supplier of dog meat down for good, to ensure no dog was harmed again, and that the remaining animals were saved and rehabilitated. They deserved a second chance. Among the 10 animals rescued on this property were 2 dogs the owner had kept in the slaughter cage as good luck charms. For 2 years, ever since they were just puppies, Andy and Boomer watched as countless dogs were crammed alongside them, each one fighting for their lives in fear, starving, injured, and hopeless. Each day, they witnessed their companions being brutalized, a reality that is all too common for the dogs and cats of Cambodia. Boomer, Maddie, Gabby, Hope, Archie, and Widget fought to survive, and we are now giving them a life where they can be safe from the trade forever. After weeks of rehabilitation at our partner shelter Animal Rescue Cambodia, our teammate from the Boston-based crew flew to Cambodia to accompany the Lucky 6 back to the US, where they would recover with our partner shelter, connect to Pet New England from their journey, and eventually be put up for adoption. After a journey of a lifetime, all 6 dogs are happily adopted into their forever homes in New England. Their new families can't imagine their lives without them. These dogs escaped gruesome death, and now they spend their days playing in their yards with their new 4-legged siblings, chasing their 2-legged siblings around at the park, hiking through the woods, and enjoying endless naps on the couch after a long day. These dogs are finally where they deserve to be, with the families who deserve to have them as their own, where they will never get stolen into the trade again. These rescues and transports are just one approach in the multifaceted campaign of 4 Paws to end the dog and cat meat trade in Southeast Asia. Boomer. Boomer was kept in a cage along with Andy for over 2 years, as they were believed to be good luck charms. Every day he witnessed dozens of dogs being slaughtered before him. Boomer is a bold dog, but he found the outside world intimidating after rescue. After some time adjusting, Boomer was playful, eager to cuddle with our staff, and clearly recovering from his past. What can I do to help chained, tethered dogs? If you see an animal who appears to be permanently tethered, you can help change their lives forever. If you're concerned about an animal, here are some steps you can take. Evaluate and document the situation, and take notes about the location, time, date, whether there is shelter, food and water, and the condition the animal is in. Find out whether your state has an anti-tethering law, and look up your local ordinances. If tethering a dog is not against the law, you should consider politely talking to their guardian to help educate them about the harm tethering causes, and see if they'll let you help the dog. You can also call your local animal control agency, which may be able to help improve the situation. If it is prohibited by law, call animal control or your local police. Insist they intervene, and stay until someone arrives. In any case, it's important to avoid aggravating the problem and putting yourself and the dog at risk. If you can assess the situation, identify the problem realistically, and find the right approach, you can help dogs in the most appropriate way. If possible, it is best to let the people understand the problem and encourage them to stop tethering the dog. Some people do not understand the views and actions of animal advocates and animal rights organizations, but it is important to think about how to give them the right information to find the right solution to help animals. Life on a chain is no life at all across the world. Millions of dogs and other animals endure almost their entire lives restricted outdoors by chains or ropes affixed to collars and staked to the ground or to fixed objects. Have all your questions about the practice answered and find out why it is harmful and how you can help end it. What is tethering or chaining a dog? In general, the terms chaining or tethering describe the practice of fastening a dog or other animal to a ground stake or a stationary object, such as a tree, fence, car, or doghouse for extended periods of time using a rope or chain. While this practice affects other animals, one of the most common types of victims is dogs. In some cases, chained dogs may be tethered for days, months, or even years. This practice poses serious threats to a dog's physical and psychological well-being, and to the communities they live in. Due to the inhumane nature of continuous dog chaining, many areas are working to stop it. Is tethering or chaining dogs legal? As of 2021, 23 states and the District of Columbia have laws that ban or restrict tethering and chaining, as do dozens of cities and counties across the country. Restrictions may include the type of collars and tethers used, or the length of time dogs may be tethered, or they may be based on the weather, among other criteria. In some cases, dogs may also be protected from this practice by anti-cruelty laws. Why do people tether or chain their dogs? There are plenty of reasons why people tether or chain their dogs. Here we mention some common reasons. Many people chain or tether their dogs because that is how their family has always done it, and they are not educated about the harm it can cause their dogs, or they do not know there are other options. Some people don't have a fenced yard, or it is in need of repair, and they can't otherwise safely confine their dog. Their dog's behavior or actions make keeping them indoors challenging, and people don't know how to correct their dog's behavior. The dog keeps running away, and their guardian is trying to protect them or prevent another citation and dog at large fine. Why is tethering and chaining extremely bad for dogs? Dogs are truly social animal companions who need to engage with fellow canines, humans, and other animals for their mental health and get regular exercise for their physical well-being. Dogs who are isolated from social interactions for long periods of time become bored, lonely, and frustrated, and can develop serious health and behavioral issues, including aggression. Many outdoor dogs are not fed properly, are not given clean water, and are not regularly examined. Even when food and water are provided, both can quickly become contaminated or knocked over, or out of reach. Tethered or chained dogs may also be left in all types of weather without adequate shelter, and are extremely vulnerable to flea and tick infestations, fly strike, and other preventable diseases, and are left unable to escape attacks from other animals and being harassed or harmed by humans. Tragically, they're also at risk of being seriously injured or killed. Sometimes, as young dogs grow older, their collar becomes too small and can become embedded in their necks, which is extremely painful and requires immediate veterinary attention. They may also become seriously injured if they become entangled, and can easily die from strangulation. Using pulley runs may offer dogs a little more room to move around, but they still come with many of the same risks and dangers. Is it safe to tether a horse or other animals? Even though horses and other farmed animals may be tethered to safely confine them, or give them opportunities to graze, this should only ever be done for short periods, and they must be supervised or consistently checked. They're vulnerable to many of the same hazards dogs are when left tethered, and if confined this way must be in a safe area free from obstructions, provided with food, water, and shelter, and regular opportunities to socialize and engage in natural behaviors. How dangerous is it to chain and tether a dog? Tethering or chaining isn't just bad for dogs. It poses a serious public safety threat by creating a higher risk for bites. Dogs who are left tied up may become territorial and become frustrated with their continued confinement and lack of opportunities to socialize. They're also left unable to flee from situations or defend themselves from potential threats, which can cause them to become reactive and behave aggressively. Children who unwittingly approach dogs are often the victims of bites. How should dogs be confined and restrained safely? As human guardians, we must take care of and love our dogs responsibly and keep them in healthy and safe environments. Dogs should live indoors and be treated as members of our family. They need veterinary care and need to be able to exercise and socialize, and eat healthy food and drink clean water when they want. They should be kept in a well-fenced area with enough space to prevent them from escaping. Dogs who are kept outside most of the time should have a safe enclosure with proper shelter and access to food and water. If dogs are going to be tethered, it should only be for short periods with supervision. What does In Defense of Animals do to help tethered animals? We advocate for dogs to be kept indoors as members of their households. We're raising awareness about this issue through our Break the Chains campaign, working with lawmakers to pass anti-tethering laws, and aiding numerous animals in the Deep South by providing resources to guardians, and aiding law enforcement with seizures of tethered animals in need of help. The World Health Organization has linked the dog meat trade to outbreaks of a number of diseases in people, including cholera, trichinellosis, and rabies. Rabies alone is a significant problem for both dogs and people in Asia, and is being perpetuated by transporting dogs domestically and across borders. This puts everyone at risk and diminishes the impact of vaccination campaigns, which would otherwise successfully reduce the spread of rabies. There's also the risk of consuming meat from dogs who were given drugs or killed with poison. Overall, the dog meat trade and live animal markets put the global community at risk of zoonotic diseases, which are diseases that can be transmitted between people and animals. What we do, In Defense of Animals, is working to end the dog and cat meat trade through direct rescue and rehoming of dogs from South Korea in partnership with Jindo Love Rescue and cats in China with Paws of China. In 2023, we also formed the Global Anti-Dog Meat Coalition, which is made up of organizations and individuals united in a deep sense of urgency and unwavering determination to support local opposition and work cooperatively to advocate for an end to the dog meat trade in countries where it still exists. What you can do: become a dog defender by signing up for an In Defense of Animals membership. Consider adopting a cat or dog meat survivor. We can help with the process. Volunteer to help bring dogs from Asia to North America and their forever homes. Take action for dogs and cats by signing our alerts. Educate yourself and others about cat and dog meat by reading our latest news. In Defense of Animals works to end the dog meat trade. Eating dog meat might be incomprehensible to most of us, but across Asia and Africa, millions of dogs and many cats are still raised and stolen for meat, and transported and slaughtered in conditions that are beyond inhumane. We're working to end this through direct rescue in South Korea and China, and advocacy through our Global Anti-Dog Meat Coalition. What is the dog meat trade? In countries where dog meat is consumed, millions of dogs are bought, taken from the streets, or stolen from their homes to meet the demand. They may be crammed together in cages and transported long distances without food or water, before being brutally killed. Where does the dog meat trade still exist? In 2024, we celebrated a huge victory when South Korea passed a law banning the dog meat trade, which will go into effect in 2027. Other nations around the world, including Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, Hong Kong, the Philippines, Siem Reap province in Cambodia, and dozens of areas in Indonesia have also taken action to ban the dog and cat meat trades. However, a lack of enforcement is a serious problem in many areas, and dogs are still being killed and consumed. Unfortunately, the dog meat trade is still rampant in other countries, including Vietnam and China. However, there's reason to be optimistic the dog meat trade could soon end in China. In 2020, the cities of Shenzhen and Zhuhai became the first in the nation to ban dog meat, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs announced that dogs are companion animals and not livestock for consumption. Even though many people in these countries don't eat dog meat, hotspots for the trade exist, and events at certain times of year, such as China's Yulin Dog Meat Festival, continue to put countless cats and dogs at risk. It might seem like the dog meat trade only exists in foreign countries, but even though selling dog or cat meat commercially in the U.S. is illegal, Loopholes still existed that allowed for their slaughter and consumption in 44 states until the Dog and Cat Meat Trade Prohibition Act was finally passed as part of the 2018 Farm Bill, banning it throughout the nation. What are the global health risks of the dog meat trade? Not only does the dog meat trade subject dogs to horrific living conditions and barbaric slaughter methods, it's putting human health at risk. This trade is largely unregulated. The unsanitary conditions that often surround the slaughter of dogs and the sale of their meat at live markets and restaurants increases the risk of spreading diseases, as does transporting sick dogs. The World Health Organization has linked the dog meat trade to outbreaks of a number of diseases in people, including cholera, trichinosis, and rabies. Rabies alone is a significant problem for both dogs and people in Asia, and is being perpetuated by transporting dogs domestically and across borders.